Hi, I'm attachment specialist Adam Lane Smith, and today I want to talk to you about how one simple trick can make you a better parent. Yes, I have boiled everything down to one. And I want to teach you this because children are so near and dear to my heart. They're the future, and there's so many attachment problems in the young generations. We got to get this working. We got to fix this together. So let's do it. Let's do it. Number one tip, number one tip to make you a better parent is to build a self-correcting system. That sounds so high level. What does that mean? You build a system that's not perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You can never be perfect. You will never be a perfect parent. To build a self-correcting system means building in systems that when the problems come, you have built such a reciprocal circle of openness and trust and love and truth on both sides that that person can come to you and say, hey, look, this problem came up. You did something that hurt me, or I did something wrong and I need to apologize, or there's this outside force that's causing a problem. We need to talk about this and figure out how to correct for it and figure out how to get our relationship back on track, protect our relationship in advance, whatever it might be. That's a self-correcting system. It's you do something wrong and the other person comes to you and says, hey, you did this thing. It really hurt me. I want us to get our relationship back on track. Here's how we're going to do that. You can go to them and say, hey, I did this thing wrong. I'm really sorry. Or they can come to you, that you can go to them and say, hey, you did this thing and you probably didn't mean to, but here's how I received it. And here's what we need to do to fix it. And they say, okay, let's do that. Because both of you are committed. So you set aside the ego. You might go, okay, no, you're right. You might have that moment, but it's not flying off the handle saying, how dare you talk to me like this? I am the parent. And it's not them saying, you don't know me, man. You know, the hippie, hippie thing. It's a self-correcting system of mutual care, of mutual fulfillment on both sides with the goal of staying together and keeping the relationship healthy. That's the goal, not perfection, because perfection is impossible. I always say, never expect perfection. Don't even necessarily hope for it, but pursue it relentlessly for your whole life. And you will get closer and closer and closer to 100%. Maybe you start at 2% perfect. And by the end of your life, you're at 99.999999% perfect. You'll never hit 100%. Never. Don't expect it, but pursue it. And you do that by building those self-correcting systems. How do you do this? Number one, it has to be attachment. You have to get the attachment right. And again, this isn't perfect. It is about building in love and care with your children. I just did a live stream just last night on my TikTok channel, about an hour, talking about building healthy attachment with your children, parenting with better attachment. And what I talked about was building in explicit communication that gives context for everything that happens and teaches and models at the same time. If you do that, you can avoid when children's brains say something bad happened. It must be my fault, because kids do. It must be my fault. And the only way for me to fix it is to be anxious all the time to try to make sure it never happens again, because no one's going to help me. Children blame themselves for their parents' divorce, often. Children blame themselves for trauma and abuse. Children blame themselves if their parent is too depressed to spend time with them. Children blame themselves if the parent is working long hours and has to leave the child in daycare. Children blame themselves if anything bad happens. If they don't get the affection and the care that they need, children blame themselves. Unless we as parents provide key context and explain what's happening in simple words, in simple terms, and reassure them of that love. And then tell them what we will be doing to make up for it in some way. And I don't mean trying to fill the hole and pay the debt. But if you are a parent who has to work and work and work, and that happens, I get it. Giving that key context about why you are working so hard, about what your work is accomplishing. It's feeding you. It's paying for a roof. And you don't say, I'm doing this for you, for us. I'm doing this for our family. I work this job to make sure our family has a home and we're safe and we have food and we do all of these things. And I know I have to work way more than you want. And I know that, and I have to work more than I want to. I don't want to be away from you. Right there. I don't want to be away from you. I wish I could be with you every day And I hope as I keep working, things will get better and maybe we can spend more time together. And when you grow up, we can work together and our family will have even more money, so it'll help and that'll be cool. Don't grow up too fast and don't get a job tomorrow, but we will work on this together and we'll do better and better as a family. But what we can do on my days off, when are my days off? For me, in my home, we've established Friday is 100% no work, purely focused on the kids. From the moment they wake up at like 5:30 in the morning and drag me out of bed on my day off to the moment they go to sleep at night. My entire attention is fixed on them because I have to work like 12-hour days a lot of the other days of the week. Fridays, and I tell them that. I say, I have to work these hours. It won't always be this way. I have to do this to take care of our family. I love you so much. I am happy to do this for us. Here's how it is right now. But Fridays, I will do nothing but pay attention to you because I wish I could take care of you and play with you every single day. Fridays, you will have me no matter what. And they rely on that. So if I even for a moment stray on a Friday, every head snaps at me and it's time to go. So you got to be consistent. Being consistent is also key to a self-correcting system because it teaches kids that they don't have to be on hyper alert all the time, that things are predictable, that you are trustworthy. Trustworthiness comes from having a stated code of behavior that you follow consistently, internally, instead of from outside pressure. And that allows everyone around you to relax because they always know that you are predictable in how you'll behave, so they can be calm and they can trust you and they don't have to find solutions and problems in advance. That's trustworthiness, and that helps other people relax. Big thing with kids. Really big thing with kids. So building a self-correcting system means giving explicit statements about what's happening, even the bad things that happen, and why they happened, in simple terms that are age-appropriate for the child. If someone hurts the child, they see an argument in front of them, something is going to happen, the relationship breaks up between the parents, whatever it might be, the kid needs as much context as possible that is age appropriate, that shifts all of the blame off of them and explains how they are not at fault and explains how it's going to be okay. Because here is what we will do for you to focus on this and focus on helping the relationship. Build a self-correcting system because they will not be kids forever. We chase them for the first 12 years of their life. Then they become teenagers, and they're basically apprentice adults at that point. They're almost adults. In the old days, at 12, you were an adult, and you had to just run with it. Sometimes they'd marry off at 12, if you can imagine that. That, you become an apprentice adult, and it's much harder to change their mind. It's a lot of their patterns, they're not set forever. You can still change things, even at 60 and 70 years old. I've worked with people fixing attachment at 70 years old, if you can imagine. It's still doable. But all of this will make adulthood easier because they chase you for 12 years. Then you sit together for another 6 years. And then they're adults, and we chase them for the rest of our lives. Make them easy to catch by making sure they come to you so you don't have to chase them and catch them. You can just call their name and they're right there in a good way. Do this by building a self-correcting system because then if there's a problem, you don't explode and they don't leave your house at 18 and never speak to you again. They're not 35 and they finally have enough of the bad behaviors and they fear for their children and they can't talk to you about the problems because you push it away. They can come to you and talk about it and know that you will listen, that you'll take it seriously, and that you love them enough to put the ego aside and work on the problems together and not say, that sounds like your problem, or say things like, I'm sorry you feel that way. It's one of the worst things you can do because that puts a fence between you and says, that's on your side of the fence. You go deal with that. I don't have time or patience for you right now to deal with your problems. That is saying, I don't want to have a relationship with you. That's saying we don't have a relationship. That is not a self-correcting system. That's a self-destroying system. And a lot of families build that without meaning to. Build a self-correcting system where they can come to you by giving explicit context, reassuring them of your love, giving them your time and attention, saying, I am doing this, again, explicit on good and bad. I am giving you this time because I love you so much and I want us to be together forever. Even when you grow up and get married and have kids of your own, I still want us to be a good family that we can talk to each other and have good times and be genuinely happy together forever. So here's what we will do. I will spend all this time with you. For me, it's spending every Friday, and every chance that I get during the week. But every Friday is guaranteed. Guaranteed. And if I have to break the Friday, I make it up somehow by giving them another day. I say, all right, emergency. I give a morning in advance. Emergency coming. The Friday, I know, guys, I hate it too. Don't say, well, there's nothing I can do. I hate it too, guys. Explicit context. I hate it too. I want this day with you. I wish so bad we could have our Friday. Instead, I'm going to have to give you my Saturday. And then that Saturday will be extra special because whatever. I'll take you out for ice cream that day when we normally wouldn't do that. Or we will totally watch your favorite movies and we will build a blanket fort in the living room and watch all your favorite movies. Does that sound pretty cool? Let's do that on Saturday. I'm so sorry, guys, but this is where I'm at right now. Can you please help me through this? Because it's really tough for me right now, too. What can we do to fix this Friday that we don't get to have? Or whatever day it is for you. That right there, self-correcting system. Build a self-correcting system. That is how you build the ultimate family. That's how you overcome all these problems. It's that simple. Don't be perfect. Build a self-correcting system. Thank you for watching. I'm Adam Lane Smith. If you could like, comment, subscribe, boost this channel. Honestly, the more people who hear about this, the better. It's going to help so many people. And this is a great chance for all of us to spread that word. So I'd appreciate it if you would help. Boost the channel, please. That's me building a self-correcting system here. Thank you for watching.